Hi guys, my name's Danica and I am recording this video specifically for people who are moving to Guate and are probably going to be needing to sign up their children for school or homeschooling. So I'm hoping I can help you guys a little bit with just the general information. So let me give you just a little bit of my background. I am a preschool teacher, a certified preschool teacher, which is actually a thing here. Over here, you cannot teach 2, 3, 4, 5-year-olds unless you are a certified preschool teacher. So our preschool is actually pre-kindergarten, kindergarten, and transition. I will explain this a little bit further later. I am a British Guatemalan citizen. I was born and raised in Guatemala. I went to school here my whole life in private schools. My husband is from Knoxville, Tennessee. He and we have 4 beautiful children, ages almost 12, 9, 6, and 2. And we've been homeschooling for 5 years. And so I thought I would share a little bit about our journey in English and kind of just answer a few basic questions, I suppose, that you might have about our national educational system, which is very different to yours. Okay, so the first thing I want to tell you guys is that when you do school in Guatemala, unlike in the States where you move from kindergarten to the first grade, we move from kindergarten to what you guys call transition. Except transition for you guys is optional. For us, it's not. It's just the next grade after kindergarten. So you are not obliged. You don't have to. You don't have to do preschool officially with anybody. But if you do, if you're in a school, you're not going to move from kindergarten to first grade. Just know that. Or in a public school, you're going to move from kindergarten to what we call preparatoria, which is what you guys call transition, which for us is the next grade. Is not an optional thing. You can't jump from kindergarten to first grade, so to say. So when you guys say you are in the first grade, to us you are in transition. And when you say you are in the 4th grade, to us you are in the 3rd grade. And so on and so on. So this is important to know so that you can sign your child up for the right grade and not, mess up in that aspect or get confused when you get the information. The next thing I want to tell you about is the student code. So in Spanish, el código estudiantil. So in Guatemala, every child, from the moment they start primero primaria, which is first grade for us, transition for you guys, basically, because what you're doing over there, we call transition. Anyway, you got the point. When you move to the first grade, in the first grade, you will get what we call a student code, which is going to be your student personal ID for the rest of your schooling years until you graduate. And what this code does is it keeps track of what schools you've been to, if you moved from one school to another, if you passed the grade or failed, etc., etc. Okay, so this is important to know if your children are small and you are going to start at least from the first grade onwards or before. And if you're planning on staying here permanently, because this student code can be lost. And it is a problem, and I will explain to you very briefly why. I'm going to give you a very concrete example. I have all 4 of my children homeschooled. Well, the little one is 2 years old, so she's basically doing early learning activities. But let's think of my 3rd grader, which in the States she would be a 4th grader, but over here she's in the 3rd grade. If she's been doing school here in Guatemala, which she has, with Colegio Hebron, which is, by the way, probably the #1 most popular option for homeschooling right now in Guatemala. It is a private school, and they're marvelous. They're kind of like a beca. If you're familiar with a beca, you'll know what I'm talking about. If she's been there with them for almost 5 years, and I withdraw her, like I just did, but I didn't sign her up to anything national. Like, I didn't sign her up to neither a private school or a public school here that is national and approved, or a homeschooling that's approved nationally. I just went ahead and I signed her up with an American curriculum. If I did that, her code, her student code, would freeze because it would show in January when our school year starts that she's not registered in a national program. And what the problem is going to be with this is that if I ever want to come back to the Guatemalan system, I'm going to have a little bit of trouble because according to them, I have no proof that my kid did the next grade that she was supposed to do. So the only way to prove that would be either getting the diploma from the American program that she did homeschooling with. Let's pretend that she did a beca for 1 year and I didn't sign her up in anything national. Then I would have to bring her diploma, go to the Ministry of Education, and go through this long and painful process of proving myself to them with this diploma and hoping they'll accept it, which usually they should, but sometimes it is a problem if they don't agree with the curriculum that was taken. So if it is approved, they're going to ask you to do un apostillado, yes? Which means you're going to legalize it, take it to Mineduc, they'll see what you did in the States, or in your American homeschool, and they say, okay, yes, this is valid. It is the same as she had done that grade here. So we accept it, and now here's your student code back, unfrozen, and you can go and use it again and sign up to any national school. Or if they're not happy with it, they might just say, well, what we want to do is test your child to see if we agree that he or she has the knowledge to go back to our system in the grade that she's supposed to go back to. So it's a bit of a problem that you can avoid if you're living here, your kids are young, and you're not planning on going back, and they're just, they're going to go to school here, so why not do it? So what can you do if you do want to do an American homeschool, but you also want them to have their student code here in Guatemala? Well, there is a school called ISEA, which is the second option for homeschooling here in Guatemala. And you can just take the courses you're missing according to our system. They will review your American program that you're doing. For example, in our case, next year we're going to be with Home Life Academy, which is an umbrella school that is located in Jackson, Tennessee, if I'm not wrong. They've been fabulous. And so it's like an independent homeschooling because, well, if you work with an umbrella school, for those who don't know, you just create your own curriculum and they approve it for you. Basically, you're the teacher, you're the one creating the curriculum, picking the books, picking the subjects. And you take all this and to ISEA, and they will look at it because they're also an umbrella school here in Guatemala, but they're an umbrella school for the national side. And they will say, okay, well, you got science, you got math, you got social studies, you got this, you got that, but you're missing, for example, Mayan language, which is actually a thing here right now. You have to take a course on a Mayan language. And so what they'll do is they'll make you keep like proof of what you're doing and show them the grades that you print out from the umbrella school. So you'll take it to them. They'll look at the program and they'll tell you what you're missing. And you will take those few courses, maybe 1 or 2 classes with them, okay? And at the end of the year, you'll get 2 diplomas. The diploma from the umbrella school in the States, and you'll also get the diploma from the school here, okay? So this is ISEA, I-S-E-A. That's how you spell it. You can look it up on Google. I think it's isea.edu.gt or something like that. But if you just find it, just type in capital letters ISEA, ISEA, distance learning, and you can find their contacts there and write them or call them. I'm not sure if they have interpreters or anything like that, but I'm sure they can find a way to help you out if you don't speak Spanish. Okay, so that is that situation. Now, if we speak about the schools that you can do homeschooling with, nationally, it would be Hebron, Colegio Hebron de Guatemala, and ISEA. Those are the 2 more known ones. Now, because of the pandemic, a lot of private schools are just starting to have kind of like the option to go presential or to go online or hybrid, sometimes to school, sometimes you stay home. So I think there's a lot going on good in the homeschooling department for our country. Now, I do want to clarify something for you. If you are already a homeschooler and you moved here from the States or any other country, but you were doing an independent homeschooling, and by independent, I mean you were registered with your state, not through an umbrella school, so you have no diploma, you have no proof, all you have is your own records. That is not going to work for you here. Okay, so our homeschooling has come a long way here, but we don't have anything like an independent homeschooling that is actually approved here in Guatemala. So what can you do? Very easy. You can actually just stay with your umbrella school that you were in the States, or if you were an independent homeschooler through the state, I would suggest you get an umbrella school because you're going to need the proof here. They're not going to take a parent's diploma. They're not going to be very easygoing about anything that the parent has done. Sadly, we have not gotten to that point where a parent can actually issue this on their own. So this is the reason that I'm using an umbrella school next year. And we're also signed up with ISEA, so my kids won't lose their student code in case in a few years one of them says, well, Mom, I don't want to study in English no more. I actually want to go back to Hebrew, or I just want to study in Spanish. I can put them into any of these systems. Or let's say that life happens and for some reason I have to send them to an actual traditional presential school here. And the only way I can do that is having their student code, because I don't want to go through the whole painful process of legalizing anything for them. So that way they just get their American diploma through Home Life Academy, and they get their Guatemalan diploma through ISEA. So everybody wins. Okay? So if you are a homeschooler, best thing to do is just to stick to an umbrella school. If what you want is to continue with an American curriculum, just an umbrella school. Home Life Academy is great, and then there's something called Aliyah or Alaya, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, which is another umbrella school that I heard works with international students. Okay, all right. What else? Okay, so if you are going to sign up with Hebron and you were in public school in the States, you will need your records. Okay. And you will need to legalize them. This means you'll have to get in contact with Ministry of Education, Mineduc. Their phone number appears in Google if you look it up. There's a 17-something number, which is like a toll-free number that you can call, and they can actually help you out, tell you how to do it. You do have to pay, I think it's like $280 to get it legalized. If it's from a public school or a private school or an umbrella school, you're fine. All you got to do is take it and they'll legalize it. Okay, so, and then once you've done that, you can go into the national system. And if you don't want to go through the process of going to the national system, like I said before, just stick to an umbrella school and keep doing the American curriculum. Now, you might be wondering, oh, but what's going to happen? Am I going to get in trouble if my kid's not signed up in school here? No, you're not going to get in trouble. So the situation here is that technically everybody needs to be registered in school by the time they're in the first grade. But there are no visits, there is no control, and if anybody ever comes to you and says, hey, is your kid studying, which would never happen, I mean, sadly, we have no control. It's a good thing in a way because it gives you a lot of freedom as a parent, but it's also a bad thing because there's a lot of children that are actually doing child labor instead of studying, and nobody has control over what they're doing. So there's a lot of kids, that are being left behind. They're not studying, they're never going to study, and their opportunities are very limited. So but in the positive side of this, in your case, you don't have to worry if you're doing an American curriculum and you're never going to sign up to the national, because you just have your own thing that you're doing. I would not recommend to continue homeschooling through your state. I wouldn't do that. I would actually find an umbrella school, because in a lot of states I hear, because of this pandemic and everything that happened, there might be visits to see if you're actually there, and that might create a problem if they come to your home to do a surprise visit and you're not there. So you would also have to give an address, and if you actually don't live there and you don't have a house there to go back to, it can be a problem. So that's basically it. I would suggest that you look into right in these schools. If you what you want, if you is your kids to get into the culture and go to school, go to a private school here, then go through the process. Have your diplomas ready from the public schools, or your transcript basically with where it says you passed, and take it to Mineduc and have it legalized. Okay. And once you've done that, you'll be good to go. So I hope I didn't mix up your ideas too much or mess with your head. But if you have any questions and I'm able to help, I'll be more than happy to answer you. If you just send me a private message, I'll be more than happy, or a comment, I'll be more than happy to help you and try and figure it out. I think that's it. I hope it helped. You have a blessed day and good luck. Bye.